This meeting is being recorded.
Yes, it is. Go for it, Bibiana.
Okay. In 1935, Congress passed the National Labor Relations Act, making clear that it is the policy of the United States to encourage collective bargaining by protecting workers' full freedom of association. The NLRA protects workplace democracy by providing employees at private sector workplaces the fundamental right to seek better working conditions and designation of representation without fear of retaliation.
There we go. Now that last line, I think, makes a lot more sense if we look at the Homestead strike. So what is the word retaliation?
Like punishment?
Exactly. Well, that's what happened when the steel workers in Homestead, Pennsylvania, barricaded the entrance to their factory. There was retaliation. The retaliation was violent. They were open. You had soldiers for hire opening fire on them. That really happened. So that was an extreme case of retaliation for organized labor in this country. So that's the reason the language is what it is. And the right to organize a union without fear of retaliation, because at this time, the fear of retaliation from a big company was very, very real. So I want to ask everybody about laws where you are from. Okay, so we looked last week, we compared the 2007 writers' strike for film and TV for film and TV with the 2023 writers' strike. So they're actually exercising that 1935 law, the right to form a union and exercise collective bargaining rights and go on strike if necessary. So this is, over almost 100 years later, where the American labor laws are today. Now I'm going to ask everybody to share. Where you're from, is there a similar law allowing workers to practice collective bargaining? That's form a union. If you don't know, just do a quick search. When I've done this in other classes, it's really fun because students just do a quick search, and they find in the labor code of wherever country, oh yes, there's a similar law. Oh no, there's not a similar law. So take a quick look. In Colombia, in China, in Cape Verde, are there similar laws or different laws? How new are they? How old are they? Do workers have the right to form a union, organize collectively?
Can I?
Sure.
In Dominican Republic, we have that, but it's a kind of business. Who is responsible to represent an union? They usually to negotiate with the company or the sector for get money for them. In fact, we have many. I think I remember 5, 7, more or less, that I can remember. They are millionaire now, but they don't talk anymore about the citizen or the employees or the way pay, nothing, because they get money for them and then they retire.
You mean there are laws that allow unions, but leadership is oftentimes maybe has a conflict of interest?
Yes, we have said that always we have, but it's like it's just the name.
Hmm.
The name, because
In
in
name only.
new
I
word
understand
for
what
us.
you mean. I understand what you mean. So you might say laws on paper.
Yes.
I understand what you mean. All right, sounds good. So does everybody understand the question I'm asking? Is there, in another country you've lived, do workers have the right to collective bargaining, to form a union and practice collective bargaining? That's the question I'm asking. And exactly the way Gracie just shared, I'm going to put you in small breakout rooms that I want you to share with each other. Everybody
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Teacher, can you
Fantastic.
repeat again, please? I'm so sorry. I don't understand.
No problem. Gracie, can you say it, explain for everybody? Because you were explaining it so eloquently.
Let me see if I can do it. It's the for our countries, is that companies or
Our workers.
group of persons, because they are company that they are supposed to represent to the specific group of employees, like transportation, for example, that we have in my country. And they,
Sindicatos, like the sindicatos, right?
yes, you are right. They represent every group by the government, or they demand the requirement and they wage, the salary, the benefits, or everything they need. Is that what I understand?
I just realized while listening to Gracie, I put it in a sentence that I think makes sense, might clarify it for everybody. So I wrote in the chat, where you are from, do workers have the right to form unions and practice collective bargaining the way that TV and film writers are doing right now in the US? So maybe they do, maybe they don't, maybe you're not sure. Just do a little quick search, find out, and share in a small group. I'll make there's a big crowd tonight. I love it. Does that clarify what I'm asking for everybody? I hope so. All right,
Yes.
fantastic. Okay, so that's the question. Do a quick search and then share in your groups together. Here we go. Because remember, the reason I did a comparison with the US past and present, today, Americans have the right to form unions and go on strike. It wasn't always the case. 100 years ago, it was a very dangerous thing to do, to go on strike. So let's go into breakout rooms now. Here we go. Okay, join your breakout room now. Hey, Funny Day, how you doing? Hi, Doris. All right, everybody. So as you're coming back from the breakout rooms, I'm going to ask for those who were here this in class this past Thursday, who remembers this Jamboard we put together? I see fraternities. I see a few of the, yep, oh,
What
fraternities.
happened with me, teacher? I put Fran in
Well,
20.
you wrote two. You wrote two. Well, anyway, so I made this Jamboard in class on Thursday, and I want to continue with it today. It was when I introduced, the same organization has had 2 strikes in the past 15 years. And we're going to do a compare and contrast exercise with it for next week. But as a pre-writing exercise, we're putting together this Jamboard, and fraternities had so much fun. She made 2 sticky notes. One, she wrote her name and the year 2007. How old were you in 2007, fraternities? You must have been a baby.
I don't know, teacher.
You were probably like a little kid.
I
And-
think I didn't pay attention about. Yes, I think in that year, let me think. Only 12 years old. I was in
Okay,
that.
not that young, all right. So you're a preteen, all right. So fraternities, and it just says fraternities in 2007. Okay, all right. I don't know what you're. I think you. I can see what you did. You started to write one, and then you left it, and then you press you, and then you just stuck it up there. This is when you were finishing your thought. But with this one, this exercise is for comparing 2 events. So it's very unusual when a union strikes twice in a very short period of time. So we looked at the historic Homestead strike. So this the Homestead Steel Workers Union went on strike. They didn't go on strike again in 15 years. Usually that doesn't happen. Like, I was living in New York during the transit strike. I remember the day that no trains were running, basically stopped the city. I walked a very long way to work. Teachers in Chicago recently went on strike. LA, there was a teacher strike. Various things, but it's really unusual for a very large labor organization to go on strike in such twice in a very short period of time. So we were looking on Thursday at some of the reasons why. They went on strike in 2007, and now they're on strike again as of 2 weeks ago. Who can recall from Thursday's lesson, what was the issue in 2007 and what's the issue now? Who remembers from this past Thursday? Bibiana, Nankari, Isabel, you want to take this one?
Oh, teacher, I wasn't in the class on Thursday morning.
You're always here, so I'm usually like, if you don't miss a class, I'm like, what? Of course you were there. I'm always expecting you never miss a class. It's so unusual for you to ever miss a class.
Yeah, teacher, I'm so sorry. I had to work surprisingly. They just
Why?
changed the schedule.
Hey,
Mhm.
it's like the one class the whole semester you missed. Okay, no problem.
Sorry.
Okay, Nankari, what do you remember about the issues in 2007, the issues now?
In 2007, the main issue was the writers weren't getting paid because their material were reused on the internet.
There you go. So movies and TV on the internet. So that was a big concern. How many of you remember the last time you watched the movie and downloaded a torrent file? And to watch the movie, you had to wait a long time for the whole file to download. seems like 1,000 years ago, right? That used to be a really normal thing. You want to watch a movie? You
Yeah.
steal it on the internet, but you gotta wait a long time, and maybe your computer doesn't have enough room on it. So you're waiting patiently to watch your movie.
You usually to do something at the same time. Okay, 5 minutes. The movie will be okay. Okay, do something.
Right.
5 minutes more. Okay. It's,
Exactly. It's not that long ago, but that's what all these writers were concerned about. There was very little regulation about. So a movie or TV show is on TV, in the movie theater, sold in physical copies. Writers have a way to get paid. But once it's played on the internet or downloaded on the internet, there's really no way for writers to get paid, and writers were really worried about that. So they wanted contracts to reflect how their work was being distributed. That was 2007. What's the issue now? They're not afraid of the internet anymore.
Teacher,
Yeah.
I'm wrong or what? But I remember that they have also something similar when they are talking about more money, higher wage. Now in 2007.
Okay. What you just pointed out is, so Gracie's pointed out a comparison. There are some similarities. There are definitely some similarities in the fact that writers don't feel compensated enough. They don't feel they're getting enough money for their work.
In two cases, they need more money. They want more money.
They both want more money. Great comparison. Yeah, they both want more money. There we go. Does anyone recall the particular concern of 2023 that they're worried about?
Because they're not having like full-time contract. It is just
Exactly.
like a freelance.
Yeah, they're okay. Hang on one second. I think I'm going to give an example of something. I just realized I'll do this to, let's see. Hold on one second. All right, so I'm going to.
What? Mom, I'm fast asleep.
Okay, let's do a comparison.
Do you have separate accounts?
We have separate accounts.
Yes.
I like that new chat, teacher.
Do you have
How to get rich.
What's that?
accounts?
I
We have
like it, that
separate
new
accounts.
chat. How to get rich.
Well, no, but I want to show you something. Okay. All right. So if you look at a show that was very popular 5 years ago versus now, you're going that was produced by a streaming service, you're going to notice a big difference in the amount of content. So popular show from 5 or 10 years ago. Here we go. Let's take a look, and it's got to be a Netflix original. Okay, Florida Man, that's a Netflix original, but that's new. Let's look at an older show. Here we go. If I look at, okay, this will, this had 4 seasons. In the Dark. Take a look at the number of episodes per. Whoops, I'm gonna go back to
Do you
In the
have
Dark. Okay,
separate accounts?
We have.
if you look at season 1 of In the Dark, tell me. Okay, In the Dark, season 1.
Sorry.
In the Dark, season 1. I should probably stop recording this right now because YouTube will give me trouble. All right, I'm gonna stop.